Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Low Key J here, and today I got another story time video for you guys. This is gonna be a crazy story. This was one of like the craziest things I've ever saw in my life. It is gonna be a story about my best friend in college and my best friend's brother's friend turning gay on Molly. I mean, the shit was crazy and just came out of nowhere. So let's get right into it. So this story starts out in Joseph's college dorm room. So me and him were just, chilling in his room, just kind of waiting on his brother to come over. His brother lived about an hour drive away. I had met Joseph's brother a few times before this, and I really fucked with him before. Like, he was a cool ass nigga. I'm gonna call his brother Jay for this story. So me, Jay and Joseph, we all tripped on acid one time and we went to the zoo. That's gonna be a story for another video. And yeah, so I'll tell that story in another video. That was crazy. So that us tripping on acid happened before this story, just so you know. So like I said, I already met Joseph's brother Jay and all that shit. Cool ass nigga. So yeah, so me and Joseph were just kind of chilling in his dorm room and we were watching the show Workaholics. Some of you might know this show and just how absolutely comedic it is. I mean, we were, dare I say, addicted to this show, like almost as much as we were addicted to the drugs. I mean, it's one of my favorite comedy shows ever. It's such a blast to watch. Like, I could definitely, like, I watched it so much that I like could quote episodes. Like, I knew what they were gonna say in the episode before they said it. Like, I watched it that much. If it was on DVD, I would have burned the fucking DVD with how much I watch Workaholics. Like, it's my favorite show to watch for, like, drugs and shit. Like, if you're a drug addict, you love Workaholics. Okay, if you're a drug addict, you love Workaholics. So yeah, after just watching Workaholics and conversing for a bit, Jay finally arrives. And when Jay arrives, we begin trying to figure out like what to do. And then Jay tells us that he has a friend of his who is staying at a hotel in the city, like downtown in the city. And I'm going to call Jay's friend Duke. So Jay says that he was talking to Duke, and Duke said that we could come over to the hotel and chill. And that sounded like a good idea to us, but only if we had some goddamn drugs. I mean, going over to the hotel just to hang out in the room was pointless. I mean, why would we go over with nothing to do? Why would we go over sober? I mean, just go into the hotel sober and just chilling and conversing and watching TV in the hotel room. I mean, that just wasn't going to cut it. Playing video games wasn't going to cut it. I mean, we could just do all that stuff in Joseph's dorm. So the only thing that was going to cut it was getting some drugs, and doing some drugs at a pretty nice hotel sounded great. So we all decided to get some goddamn Molly. And at this point, Joseph and I had never done Molly before, but I knew a plug who had some. And I can't really remember how I met this plug, and I can't really remember if I copped off of him before this. I think I might have copped ketamine off of him before this, which is going to be another story I'm going to tell. But this plug was the only person I knew, so I just had to pray that that shit was good. He was like the only person I knew who had Molly and stuff, but the ketamine was fine. So, I think, I was hopeful that the Molly would be good. But the only problem we had was that we didn't have any money to buy Molly. I mean, me, Joseph, and Jay, we were fucking brokies, as Andrew Tate would say. But Duke came in clutch and said that he would buy the Molly for all of us after Jay asked him. And Duke was, a pretty well off drug addict financially. I mean, his parents supplied him with all the money he needed. They even paid for the elegant ass hotel he was staying at. Like, it was a nice hotel, guys. It was beautiful, beautiful. So, anyways, with the money situation in order, me, Jay, and Joseph just made our way to the hotel. I had hit up the plug while we were almost on the way to the hotel. So, like, while we were on the way to the hotel, I hit the plug up, and, I told him to meet us across the street from the hotel. And we all know what drug dealer time is, so it was, like, only necessary that I hit him up before we were even at the hotel. I've only had a few plugs in my life that were actually about their business, that were actually on time, and they would be at the meetup spot when they said they would. Most plugs, you know how they act. They say, "Oh, I'll be there in 15 minutes," and 15 minutes could mean whatever amount of time. It could mean 30 minutes. It could mean 45 minutes. It could mean a fucking hour. Could mean the next day. I've had plugs who said that shit. The next day, oh, I'll be there in 15 minutes today. Oh, but I'm gonna show up tomorrow. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna do a rant story about plugs video. I'm gonna do a video about plugs. Shit, I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna vent about them motherfuckers, 'cause I hate some of the plugs I've had, dog. I hate them. Fucking assholes. So I'm gonna do a video about that shit for sure. But, let me get off track here. Let me get back to the story. So we get to the hotel and we go up to Duke's room. I introduce myself to him and get situated, and the plug finally texts me saying that he was in position. So me and Duke bust our asses across the street and we hop in a car. Plug was in a really, really nice Mercedes, and me and Joseph hop in and we just dap up the plug. Duke came along with me, obviously, because he didn't trust me with his money since we literally just met, and he also wanted to meet the plug himself. So we're inside the car. And like I said, we dapped up the plug, and then also the another nigga that he was in the car with. We make some small talk with them, and then Duke hands the plug the money, and the plug hands us the Molly. And we exit the car and make our way back to the hotel room. Once inside, Duke immediately pulls out the Molly and just pours it on the bedside table, and we all begin chopping up some lines for ourselves. Just let the snorting begin. So Duke and Joseph snort some fat lines. I snort only just a little bit because I had never done Molly before and I kind of wanted to test it out. I do that with all drugs. I start off like mad slow just to make sure that, just to like test it out real quick since I don't have a drug testing kit. So I always start off with a small line. Jay, he snorted a small line just like me. And the small line I snorted, it did kind of hurt. Like Molly like burns the fuck out of your nose. It really does. So Duke and Joseph, they snort their line and they just let out a shriek once it's up their nose. It was like a shriek of pleasure but a little bit of pain since the burning. And we just all sit down on the bed after snorting our lines, and within 20 minutes we are fucking feeling it. We are fucking rolling balls. And I'm sitting on a bed with Jay, and then Joseph and Duke, they're sitting on a bed together, and we are all just like conversing and having a good time. And eventually we decided to do some more Molly since we all realized that it was some good shit. And let me tell you guys, this was some really good pure Molly. I mean, this was probably some of the best Molly it is the best Molly that I've ever had in my life. Like it felt exactly how Molly is supposed to fucking feel. Like that shit was really, really fucking pure, really good shit. I told all the boys, I was like, yo, this is like some really good shit. Like I said, very high quality shit. So Duke and Joseph are just fucking smacked. I mean, they did some big ass lines, and me and Jay, we're rolling, but we aren't like, we aren't like balls to the wall. We aren't rolling complete balls. I mean, we feel it, but we're not like, acting all crazy and shit and all this stuff. So, since we aren't really feeling it, we just line up some more lines and we snort them. The shit hurt like a bitch, but it was worth it. And after snorting all our lines, Joseph and Duke, I mean, they do something that was so fucking unexpected. They literally just looked at each other in the eyes, and then they just pounced on each other and just started fucking making out hard, bruh. They just hopped on each other and just started making out mad hard and all this shit, getting all sexual and all that shit. So, and me and Jay are just like, we're so taken aback. I mean, we're like, yo, like what the fuck is going on? Like we just look at Joseph and Duke with disgust. I mean, this shit was so unexpected. I mean, neither me or Jay knew that Joseph and Duke were gay. They never said anything about it. So like this whole time we've been hanging out with them, we thought they were straight, and it was crazy. They acted like we weren't even there. I mean, they just didn't even care. They were so fucked up on the fucking Molly, on that empathogen. They just started making out with each other and shit, and just trying to it was crazy, dog. It was crazy the way it was. So me and Jay didn't want to get involved in their business, so we just got the fuck out of that room real quick, and we just left them to it. And me and Jay just decide to hang out in the hotel staircase, and we end up smoking some cigarettes, and we just start talking about what we just witnessed. And Jay says that he never suspected Joseph or Duke to be gay, and the Molly really just brought the gayness out of them. I mean, the Molly turned them to a fucking Geechee. And, Molly can do that. It's a powerful drug that can do something like that. I mean, I see on Reddit all the time people asking if they are gay because they turned gay on Molly. Let me answer your question, nigga. Yes, you are gay, bro. You are a rainbow. You're a fruit roll up. You're a Geechee. You can't blame the drug for the gayness because there are plenty of people who take the drug and don't turn gay. Molly just helped you truly be yourself. I mean, it's the type of drug that does that. So, fucking they're making out, and me and Joseph are just in the hotel staircase. And once we're done smoking our cigarettes, we just decide to go to Walgreens to buy some alcohol. So, I called Jay a brokey earlier, and I have to take that back because he did have some money. It just wasn't much. He had enough money to buy alcohol, though. So, but me and Joseph, we were completely broke. I'm talking like $0 broke. And Jay didn't care that I didn't have any money though. So he said I could have some of the alcohol. So we walked to Walgreens, and it was actually like a few miles away, but it didn't feel like it. Walking on Molly is way better than walking on alcohol. I mean, you can walk miles without even realizing it. We get to the Walgreens and grab some alcohol, and once purchased, we immediately start drinking once we get outside. We walk back to our hotel and we go to the staircase again just to drink and smoke. And at this point, it's probably been like an hour or so, I say. So, we text Duke and Joseph and like ask them if they are pretty much done doing what they were doing and if we can come back to the room. And they text us back saying that it's cool if we come back. So we do. And we get to the room and we just see Duke and Joseph on separate beds. And I pulled Joseph aside into like the big ass bathroom that they had. And we pretty much just have a conversation about what happened. I tell him how shocked I was to see what occurred, and like he tells me that he didn't know why it happened, but it just did. And Joseph and me, we were still rolling off our ass during this talk. I mean, I was like low-key coming down a little bit, but I was definitely still under the influence of Molly. Joseph was still very much under the influence of Molly because, like I said earlier, he did a lot more than I did. And while me and Joseph are in the bathroom, I think Duke and Jay are just in the room probably having the same conversation as us. But I kind of just tell Joseph like, it was shocking to see that, but I told him that like he can be whatever he wants. He could be gay, he could be straight or whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter to me because it doesn't affect me. But I was just shocked that it happened because this whole time, like, he purported himself to be straight. So it was very like shocking to see something like that. So I did really have to have a conversation with him because it was just crazy. So yeah, so me and Joseph, we have that conversation in the bathroom, and once the conversation is over, we just go back into the room and we sit on the bed, and we all just pretty much sit around on our phones. We talk, we watch TV. And by the time we were coming down from the Molly, like really, really coming down, it was like 4 a.m. in the morning. I mean, we took the Molly around 10 p.m. and it was now 4 a.m. In the 6 hours that we were high on Molly, it felt like fucking 30 minutes to an hour. It did not feel like 6 hours. I mean, time on Molly is unexplainable. It goes by so fast. Time goes by faster on Molly than any other drug I've tried. It's honestly ridiculous how fast it goes. I mean, and I tell everybody, in the room, I'm like, yo, like this shit, what the fuck? Like, it felt like 30 minutes, and like all of them agreed with me. And, Joseph said was like, oh yeah, it was just midnight, like an hour ago. So we're all coming down, and eventually we all fall asleep, and we wake up at like 9 a.m. We had to leave the hotel to check out, so we check out of the hotel and we get in Jay's car to head back to our dorms. And we get to our dorms, and then Jay heads home. What a crazy night that was. What a crazy night. And that's pretty much all I got left to say in regards to the story, guys. It was a crazy night where something unexpected happened, and none of us really knew how to talk about it. I couldn't believe my eyes when it happened. It kind of just became something we all tried to forget about. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you turn gay on a drug, that means you're gay. Peace out.